All right. Hello, everybody. This is Grandmaster Pascal Charbonneau, and welcome to Banter Blitz. Exciting days of chess. We've had some pretty surprising games so far, and I certainly did not think that Ding Li Ren would start with 0 out of 2. I'm starting a game here against Wolverine. You know, I'll play e4, e5. I chose a 5-minute game to start just to allow me to chat a little bit as I go. Again, thanks for joining us. It was pretty amazing today to listen to Ali Reza do commentary, an inspiring young player. Kind of amazing to be so amazingly good at the almost pre-move bishop b4. Good thing I didn't do that. That would have been a rough start to the game. Do I want to play this today? You know, this line gets very messy, but I will play d5 nonetheless. All right. Well, bishop b5 is the slightly less crazy move. All right, bishop b6. I don't actually remember what I'm doing here. I've had some crazy couple days actually. But yeah, today pretty surprising. Ding Li Ren losing a second game in a row. You know, again, I'm going to talk about this in my after show that's in roughly 2 hours from now. But I think it's pretty amazing that in both games actually there was a big mistake involving pushing the f pawn, right? Like yesterday he played yesterday he played f4 with white, and that allowed sort of the structure to change, and it was in my show it was the blunder of the day. And then today he played f5 with black, and that was basically, I mean, I think it can really only be described as a blunder, because after that move there was really no coming back. He was just down. Wondering if I can play. I might try bishop a6 here. I'm attacking the rook, and I'm hoping that having the f file open. Obviously, I'm talking at the same time as I'm talking about the game. I'm talking about the candidates. I'm talking about all sorts of things at the same time. I'm not sure if that's going to lead to the most impressive results chess-wise. But my idea was that on f takes e5, I've opened up this file. Although, you know, in reality, my bishop on c8 would have been more useful to attack the king side. But I was hoping that I could create something against f2 sort of quickly. All right, so he takes on e4. Of course, I have to take. And I was thinking that this kind of forced opening of the position would be good for the bishops. We'll see if I was right or not. I have to be a little bit careful just because my own king is not very well protected. If he takes with the knight, okay, so he goes here. I don't mind to see this move because I think my queen has a pretty good, well, I was going to say I have a very good square on d5. Then I saw that rook e5 comes, but rook e5 I can just go back to d6. And guys, give me a second here. I was trying to set up. I want to make sure that I'm listening to the chat here as well. So I'm just loading up in a separate window here, make sure I can see the chat. Hopefully everything is oh, I missed this move. So now I'm kind of losing an exchange, although maybe that position is not actually all that bad. But of course, I shouldn't have allowed bishop e7. I'm actually doing sort of doing 3 things at once here. So I will start to focus a little bit more on my game in just a second. All right, at least now I have an easy move. I can play king h8. All right, so I have an easy move and a terrible position. He's coming to e7 with the rook. Obviously very problematic here. How do I even survive this for a few moves? I think I probably need to start with h6 because otherwise he's going to have knight g5 coming. The only other thought I have is maybe d3 will distract him. D3 seems like a reasonable attempt. It might not be. Oh, and here we go. He attacks 2 pieces. This guy's playing very well. What do I do now? I might start with a loss here, which I don't know if I've ever started a banter with a loss. Well, I have to play queen to c8. He can try queen takes f8 here, and he's certainly in a pretty good position. Alright, so he found queen f8, so I'm in big trouble here. But I'm hoping that with this pawn on d3, maybe I can annoy him a little bit. Of course, should be just lost. So he makes this move. I'm going to play c5, try to play c4. So I'm going c4. I'm just going to start moving fast here as well because there really is not a point in taking too long. I don't know if he should have taken on b6. I guess it makes sense to get rid of the bishop, but now I do have this option of maybe I'm going to try to just play b5, c5, and b4. Although he does play b4. I'm trying to create, you know, the two-pass pawns. He may. I like that he took on b4. Maybe he could have done something else. So now I think I can play c3. Pawn takes. Well. So if I play c3, pawn takes, I can consider either c3 or maybe even d2. I actually kind of like d2 followed by c3. I'll try that. I have a lot of challenges, by the way, so that will be fun banter. And by the way, after I'm done, we're gonna have an hour or so with John Ludwig Hammer, which should be a lot of fun. And after that, it will be me back again with my after show. So we're having a busy day at Chess24. We're having a busy few weeks at Chess24. We're lucky to be one of the few platforms that's able to be open. All right, so now I think I might actually survive this game. The question is, can I just win? It's very close to being winning now, but it's sort of tricky. So if I play, actually, I'm not sure. Maybe it's not winning. Huh. What an odd position. So I want to play bishop c4, but then he takes on c3 and then plays rook a3, and he's attacking my pawn, which is a problem. So he might actually still be okay. Huh. I was pretty sure I was winning, but now I don't know anymore. I can try to play something like bishop f1, but that's not going to be winning. I also have weird ideas like b3, pawn takes c3, bishop d3, but that just looks artificial. I gotta move. Bishop f1. All right. I think I'm not winning anymore. I may have to try to hold a draw, and I'm gonna be low on time, so it's gonna be a little bit tricky. So this position now is just a draw, but I don't have much time, so he might flag me, and that's okay. If he wants to flag me, that's quite okay. All right. So I'm gonna try to just play fast, but of course. I have so little time that I'm probably not going to manage here. I offered a draw just in case. Oh, he offered a draw. Very kind of him. Thank you, Wolverine. Good game. Tough start. Yeah, someone says accélère, Pascal, which means hurry up. And yeah, I was being really way too slow. I was just a little bit distracted at the beginning of this game. So I'm gonna play faster now. This was a 5-minute game too, right? Good thing I wasn't playing 3 minutes. So here we go. I'm gonna start moving fast. In fact, all right. Well, this game is against someone. He offered 3-2. So that's okay. We'll play 3-2, a little increment. So this way I won't flag. I would be able to hold a draw comfortably. CK Russ is asking if bishop d3, b takes c3, b3 would have won. So that was my first idea, but then I thought there was rook a7 check, CK Russ, king f6, and then rook b7. And so I thought once I got the pawn to d2 I was winning, but after further consideration I decided not. Yeah, great game, Wolverine. All right, so we'll play h4. This is obviously not necessarily the most correct way to play, but it's sort of the anti-Grunfeld. I don't know the theory. I know people have been playing this stuff, but I personally do not know it at all. And now, I don't know what people do here. Do they play h6? I'm going to play h6. Somebody in the chat can maybe tell me what's the right move. My idea now on bishop f6, I'll probably play knight e4, try to get that bishop pair. And it feels like if he goes bishop f8, then at least he's a little slow to develop. I'll just play d4 followed by e4. And we have sort of a normal Grunfeld position. Okay, so he takes on c3. I'm surprised to see that move, but I think I'm pleasantly surprised to see that move because that looks like a nice diagonal. I'm going to immediately play c4 to... I'm going to play c4 to just open up my bishop. So now my bishop is going to come to b2, and I mean, I like my position here a lot. So actually, if he plays knight f4 first, then I may start with either d3 or the more aggressive one is d4, and I like d4 because I don't think, can he get away with, does he have queen takes d4? Queen takes d4 is sneaky. Very sneaky. I don't want to play e3, knight d3, right? Because that obviously helps him. But I may have, and I'd like to play bishop b2, but then he plays e5. And then on d4, queen takes d4. If I take on d4, knight d4, bishop f4, knight c2 check. Maybe that bishop is trapped, but I'm not entirely sure. So, all right, I'll start with the more, man, I really didn't want to play d3. Bishop b2, d5. The other thing is maybe I can start with a move. Yeah, you know what? This is the move. I should have thought of this before. Rook b1. I think that's the move. I'm attacking the b7 pawn. I'm getting my rook out of dodge. So if I play d4 next, and Wolverine, you're saying that you didn't want to flag a legend. Well, you know there are bigger legends than me. So if you flagged me, I wouldn't really hold it against you, frankly. But thank you very much. That is kind. But now my idea is to play d4, and hopefully I win a tempo by attacking his pawn on b7, which is, you know, I don't think he really wants to play b6 because that could subject him to some kind of a pin. Alright, so he decides to sack that pawn. I'm going to take it. We'll see what he's got in mind. It makes sense in a way to sacrifice a pawn, although I don't think, you know, I think with that bishop pair, I should have a very pleasant edge here. I guess d3 makes sense. Sort of a solid move. Maybe he has some compensation. I mean, I don't know. His pieces are able to get out now. Probably d3 was silly, actually. May have had a better move. Battery Bob says he would flag me in a second. I don't doubt it, and that's what I expect from most people. And again, I wouldn't blame them, so no worries. I might flag you also, by the way. So it goes both ways. Yeah, I know. CT Hulu says, I talked about 14 different moves and then I played the one move that I didn't talk about. Yeah, because Rook B1 came to me sort of suddenly. Alright, so now... Alright, so he's defended against Rook D5. I think I'll play Queen A4. Now I kind of want to get my my bishop to A3. I feel like I'm playing... I've probably been watching so much chess that I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place today. Alright, so he plays A3. I probably will keep... I'm kind of running into Knight C5 ideas. I'm kind of running into... Yeah, I'm just playing poorly, actually. A6 is a good move. I think I'll play Rook A5. If the knight comes back to C6, I have the D5 square. But of course he can try now to play something like Rook B8. Try to hop on to B1. And I may just do Bishop E2 and castle. I don't know. I also could just try maybe Bishop A3 because it's kind of annoying to defend the knight. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'm going to stop thinking and just make moves. Alright, so he just plays C5 very fast. Good move, actually. He's playing well. I'm not too sure what I'm doing here. So now he wants to play Rook B1 check. I'm sort of getting outplayed, frankly. I think I'll play king e2 to stop rook b. At least rook b1 is not a check. Now I want to play bishop h3, but my position is sort of getting worse as the moves go by. Let's play bishop h3. Try to at least at some point he has knight c6. He might have had it last move. Now I would take on e6 and maybe my rook is fine. All right, so he goes there. My rook is definitely having some problems. I'm going to go queen c2 to give my rook a square and also defend the d3 pawn. Once again, I'm playing very slowly. I'm suffering from Grishchuk syndrome. You know, Grishchuk had no time starting from like move 7 today. Oh boy, hung my queen. All right, this is starting to be a tough first banter. Tough banter. I don't know if I've had banters where I've lost. I don't know if I've had banters where I've lost more than one game, and this one I'm already lost one, and I'm about to lose another one. Very bad. Why don't I play one game seriously without talking? Well, because that's the whole point, is that I'm supposed to talk. If I could not be talking, I would be playing much better. At least, well, I would be playing a little bit better. Let's keep the expectations moderate. E4 might be a decent move here. All right, so this. Now I'm getting my bishops. I'm hoping that I can checkmate him with my bishops. He wants to come. He wants to come here to b1, which is a real problem. I think I gotta go back in this ugly fashion. So I was doing quite well until maybe I talked too much, like you said. I promise I'll start to do better. I'm not gonna lose every single game. All right, this is pretty much resignable here. Yeah, I'm just gonna resign. Good game, Adam. I had a really good position in this game, so that's really my own fault for messing this one up. All right. I'm going to play here Vlad 94, rated 1890. Maybe that's a rating I can handle a little bit more easily. Oh my goodness. What a tough start. Well, now you get to see some more how to say, some more reasonable chess than the high quality stuff you've been watching in the candidates. Then you get me. You know, by the way, we are at home here with our 2 children. Basically can't go anywhere. Nothing's open. So I have hardly been sleeping. Fuchsia here is requesting a dragon. It's already too late for the dragon, but I'll play the, what do they call this? They might call this the bad dragon. This one is considered an inferior dragon, but since I saw it a little bit late, you know, I still have to play it. By the way, I always take opening requests, so that's fine. It may transpose into the dragon. The main line actually goes with knight takes c6 instead of this. So the way he's playing, actually, now I get a good version of the dragon because I'll be able to play d5 in one move. So now I actually rather like this position. The normal dragon, black has played d6, white has castled queenside, and then you play d5. So you've actually wasted one tempo. So in this iteration is certainly a little bit better for me than the other one. So that is good. At least one thing is going well so far. That is pretty much the only thing that is going well so far in this Banter Blitz. But things are looking up. And yeah, so I've been up, you know, since the beginning of the candidates, which was at 7 a.m. here, and been preparing a little bit for my after show, and yeah, so I'm a little bit tired. I haven't really slept much in the last 3-4 nights, so it's you know, this tournament is a busy time. All right, so now again, this is a normal position in the dragon, except that here I'm up a tempo. So because of that, he hasn't castled queenside yet, and so it's well, here black is already sort of slightly better. We're going to get an isolated pawn structure in the endgame where, you know, I can at least torture him a little bit. This is not too different from the Wang Hao Anishgiri game if you take the pair of knights out. Of course, a pair of knights the pair of knights makes a big difference. But this is kind of an unpleasant position because he's not very well developed yet. So he's probably not gonna lose a pawn, but he's gonna have to kind of grovel his pieces out. So now he can't play like the most obvious bishop d3 because of rook takes d4, and I want to play rook c2, I guess. So I also have the idea of playing bishop b3. So it might actually already be a little bit difficult to hold. It's probably holdable, but it's not so easy. Yeah, so someone says to play the Clements opening. I'll be honest, I have no idea what the Clements opening is. But if you tell me, I'll try to play it, I think. Assuming that I don't veto it. I always have veto rights. But assuming that it's not like something entirely crazy, I'll play it. Is it h3 on move 1? Really? You want me to play h3 on move 1? Alright, so now I kind of like bishop b3 because he cannot keep his rook on the d file because of rook c1 check, the skewer here. So he's got to play like rook b1 or rook a1, and then okay, so he decided to sacrifice the exchange instead. This one is not going to be a particularly good exchange sacrifice. You know, we have a workshop with Joel Benjamin. It starts in what does it start in? About 2.5, 3 hours at 4 o'clock in the U.S. Eastern, or at 9 o'clock Central Europe, 8 o'clock UK. I'm going through my time zone knowledge here. If you need more time zones, just let me know. I will try my best. All right, should I play a6 here or rook c2? I think I'll start. I'll start with a6. Let's settle the question of where the bishop goes first. Bishop a4, I can play rook c4, and bishop. Otherwise, it's really bishop f1, I guess. And then I'll probably play rook c2. I also have the idea to play e5. Actually, e5 is probably the simplest. So, all right, I won a game. Here we go. Here we go. So I am back. I'm on a 1-game winning streak. So, all right, I have a challenge here from Tari007. That challenge has been there for a little while, so I'm going to accept it. 5-minute game. I get black again. Oh my goodness. So I can't play the Clements. I can't play the Clements opening. He stopped. He prevented it by getting the white pieces. Hi, John Tadros. I'm trying to follow the chat. The orangutan. Well, the orangutan, I can definitely play that. B4. That's not that bad. I can certainly play that. Looking at the chat here. Keep in mind, someone's asking if they can play the Mora Gambit against me. I don't mind, but do keep in mind you have to be premium to challenge me. So, and that question was coming from a non-premium users. This is a good time to remind everybody that it is a great time to become a premium member on. All right, I'm gonna play. This game is not starting, so I'm gonna abort this one. If you do come back, Tari, I'll add you back to my list. So I'm gonna play here. John Tadros was active in the chat. 5-minute game. Why not? Nimzo Indian, if it's possible, coming from Fuxia. Sure, I'll try that. But yeah, so like I was saying, it's a great time to become a premium member. John Tadros is. Oh, it's my move. I'm white. I forgot. All right, so I didn't play the orangutan, but I'll try to play something fun. How about this? So he plays. Let's play again. I'll play a gambit against the French, but we'll see which one. So he goes here. All right, I'll play e5. Let's see what he does. And then I'll play. Actually, how am I going to do this? I'm trying to get some kind of gambit, but I'll play c3. I will get to a gambit at some point in this variation. Oh, so he plays knight e7, so that's unusual. All right, well then I'll play knight f3. He plays knight e to c6. All right, so now this, this takes pieces away from the. It's actually going to try. He's kind of transposing into a line where you play knight f6 and knight f to d7. Here his knight has taken 2 moves to come to c6, and the other knight will come to d7. So that's a sort of a funny way to transpose. I guess I'll play a3 first. If I play bishop d3, there's the cd, knight b4. But this I actually don't mind playing at all, because there's so few pieces on the king side, I should be able to attack. That's my hope. Alright, so now I have time to develop my knight to c3, which is nice. Queen b6 would attack the pawn. I can either defend it with knight e2 or bishop c2. I would probably go for bishop c2. I think he's going to be in a position where his king side is going to be weak here, and it's not going to be so easy. Alright, so he plays f6. Normally on this we take it. I'm wondering if there's any particular thing about this variation, but doesn't look, I don't think this looks like a very good version for him. The pawn on e6 is already a little weak. I have ideas like knight g5 coming. So here I could try knight g5. Knight g5, knight takes d4. I can do some h7 captures. That doesn't look incredibly clear, so I'll just play bishop c2, which defends the pawn. And then, so now knight g5 is some kind of a threat. Also, in some cases, I may play queen d3 with bishop g5, something like that. I feel like this is sort of a bad version of the regular Tarrasch variation, you know, which with the knight d2 French. So this looks like a slightly worse version of that. And yeah, people are discussing in the chat, you know, premium membership. I think it really is kind of the best deal in town. What you get for all these video series, access, you know, complimentary when you're a premium member. You're able to play me and Banter Blitz and Magnus Carlsen, whichever one you prefer. And yeah, it's just, I mean, for the price of, for example, like one private lesson in the United States, you can get access to hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos from people, you know, like Magnus Carlsen himself, Jan Gustafsson, Peter Svidler, Vishy Anand. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's great openings ones. You know, we have John Ludwig Hammer coming on with a he's doing the Banter Blitz just after me here before my after show, and he has come up with he has a repertoire for white and a repertoire for black. Those are excellent. So anyway, there really is tremendous value in the premium membership. Code Candidates 2020 gets you 40% off. It's hard to beat. So, alright, I played g3 because there was some bishop h2 stuff. Now, I'd like to maybe play queen d3. Seems like a reasonable move. Ideas, I have dreams of playing rook takes f6. I don't know if those dreams will ever become reality, but, you know, it's a possibility. I mean, it probably was not the most accurate move because queen d7 kind of protects stuff here. And then, you know, it might have been better. Actually, maybe queen d7 I can play queen f5, threatening rook takes f6, sort of a sneaky move. One of my big threats here is bishop takes h6. So bishop takes h6, you know, is always in the air. I would like to bring my other rook in the game. So now, oh wow, he's provoking me here with this bishop b6. He's ignoring everything I'm saying. It's not quite mate. I mean, of course, he wants to take on d4. So if I'm scared of him taking on d4, then I can play a move like knight to b5. Rook f6, queen h7 doesn't look like mate, although it doesn't look bad either. And bishop h6, knight takes d4. Bishop g7 there. That feels like it kind of has to be good. Yeah, I gotta go bishop takes h6. Just too tempting to resist. So on knight takes d4, I have a few ideas there. I mean, one of them is maybe just queen g6. Okay, so he goes knight e4. On knight e4, I was just gonna take that knight. I'm wondering now though whether I should take it maybe with the rook to just really because my bishop is so strong. I think I will take it with the rook because that bishop seems very, very strong. Maybe the other move was better, I don't know. So I think this is going to end up, I said I would sacrifice something, so now I did. There were a lot of possibilities here, but so who knows. I think this is a difficult position for him. I'm threatening things like queen h7 takes g7. So he goes there, then I was assuming I'm playing, well, I'm playing queen h7, that I know. And then I'm assuming I can play something like bishop b3. Looks most natural. I do have to watch that my f2 pawn is hanging. But that being said, I can play, for example, so how do I do this in the best way? I'm probably taking unnecessary risks. That's to say, that's again putting it lightly. I think I'm going to just play bishop e3 to start. And my threat now is knight d5, and this should be a winning position, but I'm going to run out of time again, so I better start moving and not talking. So what's the material? The material is I sacrificed an exchange, just like Joel Benjamin recommends in his workshop, and his king is in a very scary position. So I think I'm doing well here, but so now I'm playing knight d5. I'm happy to hop in. I may just win material here with knight d5, and I still think his king is really unsafe. I probably had something way more convincing than what I did, but at some point I had to go for safety rather than I had to go for a practical choice. So all right, so he's going here. I'm going to keep the queens on because it seems crazy not to keep the queens on with this position. Although of course it was probably good to take also. All right, so this move, well now it's maybe trickier. It's actually not. I'm just going to keep the queens on. I'm not too worried about the f2 pawn, because if he goes king c8, then I take on b6 with check. King d7, I take on b6 with check. So I am able to just kind of keep the queens on the board. So I snatch a piece here, and then I should be able to just, I could have taken the rook actually. I don't know why I didn't take the rook, but I'll just keep the material. So now he wants to, I guess, hide on, he's going to try to hide over here. I'm going to play knight c7. My idea is to play d5 check. Should be able to win this position without too much trouble. But we will see, because I've been getting myself into a lot of trouble already in this in this Banter Blitz. I should have played knight e6 actually first, but oh well. This is not going to go down, I think, as my most accurate Banter Blitz performance ever. All right, he's threatening knight f3. I'm really just finding, I just keep finding ways to get myself in trouble. So what do we do now? I think I can take his rook, but again, I'm sort of allowing chances that really should never have been, should never have happened. Things that should not have ever happened are happening. Now I've managed to checkmate him. So, all right, good game, John Tadros. It became a pretty fun game, complicated. Thank you. So here we go. Who do we have here? So, all right, Monty 24, rated 2200. All right, so someone said the orangutan, so here we go. Orangutan it is. I take requests very seriously. This is not, by the way, the John Ludwig Hammer opening repertoire. The John Ludwig Hammer repertoire starts with e4, not with b4. Thanks, Dutch Defender. I don't know that it was all accurate, but it felt right for a while, and then I think I made some bad moves. Yeah, Steve is 5. I had a ton of challenges today, so even when I just logged in, I had something like 30 challenges. So it might be a little bit slower than unusual days. It's not a bad idea you can even start challenging Hammer too. This way when he starts, you'll already have him. You'll be on his list. So All right, so now I'm playing g4. Obviously, you know, I'm playing this in Banter Blitz style. This is not necessarily, don't try this at home, you know, kind of thing. All right, I'm going to take his bishop, and I guess I should probably, should I play b5 or a3? I'll play a3. This pawn, of course, needs to be defended eventually. So now I got the bishop there. Otherwise, it's actually a fairly normal position. Yeah, e5 is a good move. I'll play d3. This reminds me a little bit of some of Kamsky's games here. You know, he's played some Banter Blitz. His match with Cristobal Enriquez, for example, saw a lot of these tight positions where, you know, white's bishops end up fianchettoed, and he pushes either g4 or b4. Now, since I started with b4 on move 1, I had kind of a head start, so to speak. I mean, some would call it a false start, but I started I started with the pawn further up. So Let Me Win says the engine says it's an inaccuracy. I guess that is true. I remember one of the lines that was popular when I was a kid was against b4. So now, actually, now that he's played the king on this side, I'm going to try to expand on the queen side against his king. I hadn't quite decided where my king was going to go, and frankly, I don't know if I have to decide until a little bit later. So yeah. All right, he takes on c4. Decisions. Do I take with the knight? I think I have to take with the knight. The knight is it just feels like it will be easier to open up the position by doing this. So at some point, of course, I want to play b5. So now I think I actually might castle because I want to bring my rooks in the attack. So it feels very natural for this rook to come to either c1 or b1. All right. So if he goes here, my original plan was to play knight a5, but after knight d5. I don't have anything that convincing there, so I think I'm going to just play rook to c1. And now, eventually, I mean, my goal is to play like either a4, b5. I don't really care if he wants to take this pawn here. All right, so now I'm definitely, I say definitely, and then I start thinking. So on b5 looks right to me. Yeah, I'm just going to play b5. If he takes on b5, I have knight takes e5, which is certainly nice. But I expect him to play c5, and then I have options, but I thought I would just go for a simple plan of kind of trying to push the a pawn. After he plays c5, my bishop on g2 is unopposed, and I rather like that. And so yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this position. The more you can open up the position for the bishop there, generally the better. So I have to make sure that my king doesn't get itself in trouble. But right now I'm liking this. So now I think I might just play d4. It seems a little weird to lock in my bishop, but I like that I'm opening the diagonal for the queen to attack the b5 pawn, and also I'm creating potentially a c5 square for the knight. You know, if it gets pushed back at some point. The one thing is that my bishop on b2 is looking a little bit like a dud right now, so I have to work on that piece. And a4, b4 doesn't really seem to help me. I do have a nice center of pawns, but how do I exploit it? I may actually play a4, and then on b4 play a5. I still think this position is very good for me, but I have this weird concept here actually of on b4 I can try queen takes a6, but I don't think it works. So queen takes, the idea was pawn takes, knight c6 check, and then I take the queen. However, I don't think it's great because he can maybe play bishop takes e5, and I also don't know that I have anything after if he goes to king c8, but it's something to keep in mind. I'm just going to play a5. I can't take forever, but rook c6 is actually in the air too in some cases. Now my idea after I played a5 is to play rook c5 and double the rooks. I still think the biggest problem for him here is that the G2 bishop doesn't have a counter, and so it's hard. And as nice as his knights look, you know, we call these in some books they call knights like this that defend each other superfluous, because they basically are eyeing the same squares. So generally, you know, you want to trade your superfluous knights. All right, so he's going here. Now that I am very happy to see, because I can get rid of my dud of a bishop, and now I can seriously consider. I think knight c6 probably just wins on the spot, because after knight c6, pawn takes, queen takes a6. How is he going to stop rook b1 there? I don't really see how. So I got to go for that. I'm assuming this is going to be good. He can play bishop h2 check, and I think I just take it. And he defends against mate, but it's going to be pretty bad, I think. Knight takes g4 check there, just king g1, and that should be over, especially because that knight will hang eventually. So I don't really see. I don't think this can be defended properly. Rook b1, obviously a big threat. Knight d5, I'd probably just take the knight first. I mean, everything wins there, but just trying to be accurate. Actually, no, that would not be accurate, because then rook comes to b5, being too fancy. Huh, so he does play knight d5, the move that I just mentioned. I think rook cb1 is actually interesting, because let's see. Another idea is to play queen takes c6. So I've got options here. So rook b1. Huh. All right, I can never make decisions. That's my biggest. I am truly suffering from the Grishchuk syndrome. All right, I decided I'm playing this rook to b1. Now on on here I was going to do this. Hopefully that's a good move. I'm again not entirely sure if I'm playing this in the most accurate way, but I think it should be winning. Bishop takes d5 was probably good, fun beat, but I was worried about rook takes d5, and then on rook b1, rook b5 check. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this looks pretty good. Now, do I want to take it, or do I want to play like king g2? So he's sort of sidestepping the mate, so I'll just take it, because might as well be up material. Sometimes it is hard to make a choice, and in Blitz, you know, you just kind of have to make a decision. All right, so he goes there. I'll go to g2, I guess. The c6 bishop is protected because his knight is pinned. So this, now queen a8 is a mate threat, and the b4 knight is hanging. So good game, Monty. Pretty interesting one. So here we go. All right, I'm on a roll. I've won at least, I don't know how many, maybe 2 games. So I have a challenge here. Somebody, let's see. I'm not necessarily accepting them in the order that they came. Funbeat has been active in the chat, 2700. I will play him next. All right, D4. Fuxia requested the Nimzo Indian. That's the last request I saw, so I'm going to play the Nimzo Indian. Well, he's prevented the Nimzo Indian, but we get into this. So this is almost like a Nimzo Indian. Not quite. I did what I could. So with the knight on d2, it's a little bit different than regular Nimzo. I've played bishop d6 here. It kind of invites c5, but I don't really mind c5. The bishop on d6 is more active. So if he plays like bishop e2, then I like having the bishop on d6 in these positions. Nothing special, of course. White has played perfectly acceptably, of course. All right, so b4. Now he's threatening c5, c6. So I think I probably should just play c5 myself. I don't want to simplify things too much. Yeah, I think I'll play c5. All right, so he takes. He'll probably play rook b1. I'll play rook b8. You know, I think this is probably just equal. All right, so he goes to b2. How do I make this position come alive? So he probably wants to play rook c1. So it doesn't seem like I should put my queen on. Doesn't seem like I should put my queen on the file where the rook is coming. I may actually play. I wonder if maybe I should have tried something like bishop a6. I mean, the problem I have is that the position is potentially going to get simplified a lot. I'm going to take on d4, I think. Now he's probably going to take with the bishop though, right? That's the, well, taking with the bishop, I can probably take on a3, and at least his rook is attacked, so he's going to have to spend time trying to win the pawn back. In fact, I may take this pawn on a3, depending on what he does here, next move. Alright, so he goes knight takes. Knight takes now. So if I play bishop a3, he's probably got ways to simplify and just be equal. And otherwise his knight is definitely on a good path here. He could be coming in though to b5. I might actually want to take that pawn just because otherwise I might be a little worse, so I'll take. So we'll see what happens here. I think, okay, so he's going for this. He's trying to trap my queen. This is interesting. Maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I played poorly, I don't know. So he wants to maybe play knight b5. He also wants to play c6. So how do I, Maybe it's well played actually. It's interesting. I do have some problems with my pieces here. c6 is a really big threat. Rook b1 is not as much of a threat. I just don't have a lot of ways to. I'll play bishop a8. I mean, it doesn't feel right to me, this position anymore for myself. But I don't see any better move. So this has got to be better for him. All right, so he's got obviously huge compensation here. If he's not just outright winning. I wonder. I guess I probably want to keep the rooks on. I don't really know. This is just turning into a bad position. He's got moves here, so yeah. Well, he's played very well, so that's a good game for him. Fun beat. Rook a1 makes a lot of sense. I'll go queen e7. At least my queen is not trapped. But yeah, so he's attacking this pawn. I'll play rook c8. I suspect that he's much better here, but I don't know. I guess I'll play. So now he wants to play some kind of bishop a6, right? So I got to do something about that. But knight c4. I think I have to try something like knight c4 because at least I get my bishop a little bit open and I can get my knight into the game and try to defend. But this obviously has gone completely south for me already. So I'm playing knight d5, try to attack this c7 pawn. You know, I do have some sort of maybe small chances to survive somehow, but I can never really take this pawn. So I don't know. This is going to be a struggle. Gonna have to be a comeback story. Alright, so he does have this move actually, which I missed. So now he's just gonna be up a piece, it looks like, right? Unless I can play, no, rook c7. He's playing perfectly. That's well played. Try rook c7, but this is just going to be lost. Yeah, it's just lost. Wow. Well, I mean, this is like one of the most impressive games I've seen in a long time. I don't know what I could have done in this entire game. This move, so then he goes knight c6. Wow. This is just like, that's very strong. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just resigning this. That's a tough opponent. My goodness, this guy played like a world champion in this game, I honestly think. All right, good game. So let's see here. Why is it not? For some reason, it is not letting me accept a challenge here. Why not? Huh. I'm a little bit confused. Let me see here. I'm trying to accept the next challenge, and the next game may be the last one before we go on to John Ludwig Hammer, who might put on a stronger performance, but hopefully I've been entertaining enough. I just don't know why it's not letting me accept. Let me actually just reload the website real quick. So challenges. Okay, here we go. No, it's still not letting me accept challenges. I apologize, everybody. Somehow it's not letting me accept, even though I'm not playing anymore. Why not? All right, so I'm just trying to accept here, struggling with my browser. Let me actually see if maybe I'll refresh. Or you know what? Maybe I'll try to challenge someone. So I have a challenge here from I saw one long time ago that I was going to accept. All right, here we go. So I think I finally managed to accept a challenge. I apologize about this. Here we go. I don't know what was going on, and so I don't know if I ended up accepting the one that I was going to accept first, but for that I apologize. So I'm going to try to play super fast because I did tell John that he could start at in 6 minutes. So I'm going to try to get this game finished quickly. If I blunder, then I'll have an excuse, which is great. This line. So I haven't played this in quite a while, but that's okay. I did resign against a fun beat. I thought I was beyond lost, so I did resign. But for some reason, yeah, something had not registered maybe when I resigned, and so maybe it was like I was still playing. All right, so I'm playing b3. I'm hoping to at some point play d5. So this has been fun, and by the way, you know, I really hope everybody tunes in just over an hour for my after show, whether it's on our Chess24 Twitch channel or, of course, preferably on Chess24 directly or on YouTube. So that will be in just over an hour. In fact, I got to finish preparing what I'm going to say. I have looked at all the games. Of course, I've been watching them pretty much every day. Some of you have probably seen me in the chat. But I got to see who won the fantasy contest, for example. I hope you all have been participating. You can find all the information about our contest, by the way, on our website. But you can start from chess24.com/fantasy. We're also posting, like I did a video yesterday with Greg Shahade, who is doing the incredible job of setting up all the odds for this contest. So I did a video with him yesterday, sort of recapping everything, and then he did a whole more in-depth video with like how the odds, how everyone's picks were today and stuff like that. Is pretty interesting. If you're into fantasy sports, you should check it out. So now we have a position where I have more space, but he does have chances to get counterplay. In fact, e4 maybe wasn't the best way here, but I still think this is a reasonable position for me, especially because his bishop on b7 is clearly misplaced. I mean, of course, it has chances to come back, so it's probably going to come back to c8 at any given point. But now I may want to play f4, and I think I have pretty good light square control. But this should be a fairly balanced position. Alright, so he played knight c5. I think I'll continue with f4. I do want to be careful not to give him like an easy hop on d3 kind of situation with the knight. So that's the only thing. But maybe that will be okay. So I think I'll play f4. Because I think I can actually pretty quickly get activity against the f5 pawn. So if I take, I can take and play knight takes f5 and queen g4, but he's got king f6, and that really does hold, I guess. Looks like it does. I'm gonna try it. You know, you only live once. I don't know if it's good, but I have bishop h3 then, and if he goes bishop c8, I have queen h4, and I skewer the queen. Would be nice to end with a queen skewer. That's my idea. King f6, bishop h3. The rook seems almost trapped, and then if bishop c8, queen h4 takes on d8 is the idea. Now, of course, he can play something else. So he can play something like queen d7. Then I probably play queen h4. I think I'm going to get a lot of attack there. So then I can either play with g4. I think I play maybe just, you know, g4, g5, f5. Does that make sense, or am I being crazy? And should I just, because I could also just take it and then play g4. So why am I, you know, playing down a piece? And of course, I can play queen g4 and make a draw, which I'm not going to do. I'm just deciding deciding what I want to do. It's definitely not right to sacrifice a piece, right? Yeah, it can't be right to sacrifice a piece, so I'll go for this. This probably was all a little bit more show than really good. Although I do think the king maybe is still I still have play against the king, so we'll see. I think this is still maybe a complicated position. Could be that it's good for him. All right, so this, I'll go rook to e1. I guess his queen can get active. Yeah, this is not entirely clear at all. Although I think, you know, still is playable. Maybe I'll start with f5. I don't really want that bishop to get too active. So if I play g5, that bishop now is good, while with f5 it's not as good. And I was thinking that maybe I don't really have to fear. I'll play rook e3 just to stop that pawn from moving forward. I gotta move fast, and I was thinking that at some point, I may not even fear an endgame here. I don't know if I want it, but I don't necessarily have to be too afraid of it. So I might want to just play h4 g5 if given a chance. So again, John Ludwig Hammer starting right after this game, so I'll probably end my stream reasonably quickly after. I'll play h4. He's gonna go rook g8, and I'll play king h2. I think the tactics work out if he tries like some kind of sacrifices, and I have rook f4 to defend that pawn potentially. But ideally, I'd like to play queen f4, move the rook to g3, for example, and start pushing. So that's what I'll do now. Queen f4. I haven't played as quickly as I said I would, by the way, right? I kind of lied about that. But Perino is really asking 3 or 5 minutes. I don't really mind playing either or. This one was a 5-minute game, but it really is kind of up to whoever's playing. All right, so now he's threatening the fork on d3. Oh, and he's threatening actually my pawn on h4. I have to be a little careful. Did I just blunder something? Not really, because I can play queen g3. I don't know if there was a weird like triangulation, and without much time I can't even figure out whether anything changed. He can try knight d3 to e5 now. Okay, so on this move now I think finally I can play g5, and I'm going to play g5, and we'll see what happens. I'm not sure that I'm still not sure that this is good for me, because even if I get my pawns through, he might be able to blockade them even pretty far up, so it's not necessarily too clear. All right, he resigned. Well, it was complicated, so thanks everybody. I had fun, and I'm going to go prepare for my after show, and in the meantime you have John Ludwig Hammer's show is going to start. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all in just an hour. Bye bye.